Welcome back to another episode of the only show where the points do matter, because it is the R&R Sports Podcast. I am your host, Robert Joins, along with my co-host, Randy Watkins. Randy, what's good, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Robert?
It's whatever.
I was looking forward to that adjective, like maybe awe-inspiring or super sensational podcast.
Fantabularific. We're creating all sorts of adjectives here. The R&R Sports Research Department. Wow, the R&R Department, or R&D Department.
R&D, yeah.
The R&R R&D. I'm Robert Jones of the R&R R&D Department. Bob Loblaw of the Loblaw Law Blog.
It's super sensational.
Oh man! So apparently it's been a busy week in sports, Randy. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Extremely. We go in from not having crap to talk about Winter Olympics. Thank you to a huge week in sports.
Hey man, that flying tomato guy. He won the gold medals. That was exciting.
Yep, everyone saw that and turned the TV off.
Men's
for
curling.
The next 3 weeks. Yes, big week in sports. A lot of it revolving around NCAA basketball. Yeah, I'm so hyped about that.
Inca.
Inca.
The wild bird of college sports. The Inca.
What I live for in March. Like, I just dedicate my entire March. Like, I was sad that at least 10 days go by without nothing happening.
You know, MLB is like, they're like, hey, guys, you know, spring training is kind of going on right now. And it's like, screw you, college b-ball, man.
Nobody gives a crap about spring baseball, spring practice. I can't even say it. It's so ridiculous to think about. Let's talk about top of the show. Our who you got last week. So we talked about Duke, UNC.
Yeah, I won again, but then again, you know, the choices were set.
Yeah,
but then again, let's also say it was a win, but it was also a loss.
You know, I will say, when I was going back listening to our audio of last week, I did say that, you know, if Duke comes out and puts the ball down low and gets it into Marvin Bagley's hand, then Duke's going to win, and that's exactly what they did.
Becky let me smash. I won smash.
Just look like like when you put a 6'8" guy, which a lot of teams don't have someone bigger than 6'8". Or at the most 6'9".
Seven footers are rarer and rarer in college sports.
He just makes them look like chumps.
He is a man surrounded by boys. That's really what it is.
Oh, I think you called it best when you said that he is a different species. Yeah. I mean,
he's on a whole different level. But yeah, really it was an amazing game, and I don't feel like UNC brought their A game in that game.
No, they just looked lost offensively.
In fairness, though, they certainly made up for it in the ACC tournament. But you can go back a month ago, and I said, yeah, we're going to fight again, and we'll likely meet in the ACC tournament. And guess what? We did indeed.
Nope. We sure did.
And UNC was able to beat Duke in the tournament, but a tough loss to Virginia last night. But Virginia just blanded them to death. That's just, God. There's just, I'm sorry, man. It's just not exciting. It's not exciting basketball. It's like, it's very technical. It is exactly what college ball should be. They've built an amazing program there. Tony Bennett has, I always have to remember, it's like the singer. I love that Tony Bennett. Yeah, Tony Bennett had like the coach had like a health issue come up, and Tony Bennett, the singer, sent out a tweet like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm all right." It's the other Tony, and it's like the one tweet you've sent out, old man. Don't worry, guys, I'm fine.
How is he still alive? He's got to be like in his 80s.
He's
or
up
90s.
There. He's up there. What I just love is I love the idea of Tony Bennett, the singer, out on the court. All right, guys, you got to play some defense. So defense.
You got to
get
that
in there in the post.
Offense.
Yeah, exactly. I want to sing a little ditty about
I told you to make a move to the paint.
I want to sing a little ditty about an old coach I think you've all heard of, a good friend of mine. This one goes out to you, the late, great Dean Smith. Three corners of my love.
Can you imagine just yelling at the refs like a really bad call? He's like, that was a really bad call.
Atrocious.
I'll see you in the back parking lot after the game. I'm going to trip you like Grayson Allen.
His halftime show is phenomenal. Sorry, I mean his halftime coaching talk is phenomenal. Oh, man. But yeah, so Virginia wins the ACC tournament and punches their ticket to the NCAA. You know, they really needed that win, Randy, you know, to just secure the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of the game last year, the national championship game with Villanova. It was just a defensive brawl, at least on Virginia's side. And, you know, for a while there, they just could not miss a shot. Their guard play was just incredible.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that was interesting. I was listening to a radio broadcast of Virginia. It was whoever Virginia played before Carolina. I don't remember.
Clemson, I think.
Clemson, okay. But anyways, they were like, Tony Bennett, the living legend. You know, this guy's going down in the history books. And I'm like, he has not won squat. Wait a moment before you smoochy his broadside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're in a conference with guys who have rings, plural, you know? The Hall of Champions at Carolina and Duke and State is intimidating. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we're just talking about here in North Carolina. I'm not even including all the other great schools in the ACC that have won championships. And so, like, for Virginia with no championships to be like, yeah, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer, it's like, God, maybe.
Wow.
But let him.
Yeah.
He needs
Put
to
the cart
prove
before the horse.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly they've had a great year. They finished 31-2. They only lost 2 games, and one of those was to Boston College. So they got caught in a typical ACC trap game.
I was going to say Boston College and Virginia Tech. Does that not scream ACC football to you?
Oh yes, that's right. They lost to Virginia Tech as well. That was recently, but their guard play. I mean, Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome. I mean, they just got well. First of all, Ty Jerome is their one of their point guards. He's 6'5". And so he was just in the face of Joel Berry all night, and I think that really frustrated Joel because he's only 6'1".
Yeah.
And the kids both of them, Ty Jerome mostly in the first half, but Kyle Guy in the second half, they were just throwing up threes left and right. And I'm texting friends of mine, I'm like, can we not guard the perimeter? They are just killing us from outside.
Yeah.
But an awesome defensive team to watch. Like you said, and I appreciate talent. I know they easily. I mean, let's face it, they easily won the ACC title.
Well, they won
Carolina.
they won the regular season and pretty much led the entire game in the championship.
And they just ran through the tournament with ease. I mean, and every time Carolina would come within 2 or 3 points, they would just pull out even further, and they just an outstanding effort. I think they'll do very well. Tonight was Selection Sunday, and they easily gained a number 1 seed. But I think they'll do pretty well. Although I will say, last year I picked them to either go to the Final Four or the Elite Eight, and I can't remember because they had a good team last year too. Not as good as this year, but man, I got burnt. They blew up one of my brackets.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, I'll tell you what. People are going to think the only thing we talk about on this show is ACC sports. So how about some other stories, buddy?
Okay, so this week it was announced that Ichiro Suzuki is going back to Seattle.
Yay! A 44-year-old going back to a dying team. No, don't get me wrong. I love Ichiro. I do. Great guy, dynamic player, was amazing in Japanese ball and amazing in American or in the MLB. But I mean, he's 44 years old, man. How many more years is he going to play? Is he still playing outfield?
I think so, but I think he's just DHing, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess he would
or
have
pinch
to.
hitting.
Which is so funny for him to be a DH as a contact hitter. I mean, that's what he is. I mean, his benefit was always he's going to make contact, he's going to put it in play. And that's that J-ball style of play where, you're not looking for home runs, you're looking for runs,
He is one of 8 players in Major League history with at least 500 stolen bases and 2,900 hits.
Yeah.
Incredible company to be with.
2,900 hits. That he's real close to 3,000. Well, maybe that's why he's hanging on, because the 3K mark is a big deal. Will he get?
He's over 3,000.
Oh, you said
he's over 4,000.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Now
you said over 2,900. So
yeah, I will say that 1,200 of them came in Japan. So
yeah, those don't count, unfortunately, when we're talking about the Baseball Hall of Fame. They only care about the MLB.
Let's see how close he is. He's really close to. Yeah, he has surpassed his 3,000th hit, and that was last season, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool story for him to go back, where it all got started for him. Actually, it was 2 years ago on his 3,000th in August. So he'll be going for even more this year. I think it's a cool story, him coming back to Seattle. I know a lot of Mariners fans really, really love that guy, and for what he's done for the team. Just kind of taking him to uncharted waters.
Yeah, Ichiro currently he has the most hits of any active player, but he's 21 all time in the MLB with 3,080 hits in Major League Baseball.
What did you say he is all time?
3,000. He's 21st overall
Wow.
with 3,080 hits. But you got to think the 20 ahead of him are serious heavy hitters, the cream of the crop in baseball.
Right.
I didn't realize that Derek Jeter finished with almost 3,500. I mean, Derek Jeter is 6th on the all-time hit list.
Wow.
What's even crazier is how many Yankees are in the top 10.
It's probably because Derek Jeter is probably one of the most unlikable players to ever play in the major leagues. I mean, that was always the biggest beef about him. There's a lot of people that don't like Jeter, too.
I think there are a lot of fans that don't like Jeter. There were a ton of players who really admired and respected him.
Yeah.
I mean, what's so offensive about Derek Jeter? I've always... on the field, he's just Mr. Oatmeal. You know what I mean?
Smug face. That's what it is.
Man, you can say smug, but when you've got rings, baby. He's got 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty darn impressive in the major leagues. And 4 were won in a 5-year period. That's just what's unbelievable.
That's where I would say your boy Tom Brady's got 5 rings, too. That doesn't stop you from...
Yeah, but see, baseball is a sport where it's one-on-one. Football's not a one-on-one sport. At the end of the day, baseball's a one-on-one sport. It's pitcher versus hitter.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's really... I mean, we see it in softball.
Fair enough.
We see it in softball. It comes down to who's got the better hitters. If you're not hitting, you're not going to win.
No.
So...
I remember Jeter from back in the day when he played for the Greensboro Bats, getting started there. It was pretty cool to see him from that, at least when I was a kid, starting at such a low end like that, working his way up that he did. I mean, I was never a Yankees fan, but I do appreciate that about him.
Yeah, and what's neat is that he was in the Yankee system from day one. He was drafted by the Yankees, and he was always in their farm system. I mean, forever. So, but we don't have to keep talking about Derek Jeter. I can tell it's a sensitive subject, just lurking under the murky waters of Randy Watkins' baseball knowledge.
It's just I've heard so many stories about just how he is with his fans, how he is with other people. I've just never been a fan. Jim Norton has a great story about how Derek Jeter dissed it the hell out of him on stage one night or whatever. It was at one of his shows, or he was so excited because Jim's a big Yankees fan. If you don't know Jim Norton,
I know Jim Norton. He is a weird little man,
but he is hilarious. If you're out there listening, you've never heard of Jim Norton.
If you like comedians, comedians with a foot fetish, Jim Norton is the one for you.
But Jim really got dissed bad by Derek Jeter, and he just went on a tirade one day. I used to listen to his radio show in New York, and it was bad. I don't know. Maybe that's what put a distaste in my mouth for Derek Jeter. I don't know. But all right, moving on. Lots of big stuff going on in the NFL this week. Did you hear about some of the big trades and moves?
Yeah, I was following a couple of those. I mean, it seems like any player on any team is up for grabs.
Yes, Sherman today was the big news today, that just a day after, or maybe it was yesterday, a day after being released from Seattle, the 49ers picked him up on a 3-year deal, I think. So he stays in the conference. That's always hate to see one of our guys leave, stay in the conference.
Interdivisional rival. Yeah, the Panthers know a whole hell of a lot about that. Jesus.
Redskins do it all the time too.
Yeah,
constantly. It's either the Cowboys or the Eagles picking up our players.
But yeah, he's out of Seattle. Well, I mean, that's also not surprising. The Legion of Boom is not what it used to be. I mean, is Cam Chancellor even going to play this year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know they decided to keep Earl Thomas, was the big news. They've been kind of in search for that other corner on the other side of Sherman for a long time, since they lost what's-his-face to Philly. But Legion of Boom, yeah, just the dynasties don't last in football. They just really don't. Cam Chancellor used to be one of the most exciting guys to watch.
Yeah.
Just an incredible talent, hard-hitting, strong safety. And you want to talk about a guy, a 7th or 8th guy you put in the box and just cream somebody, that's him. I love watching him play.
Yeah. Well,
he's an ACC player.
People forget that Seattle, save one bad play call, almost had a second Super Bowl and would have kept Brady from.
Yeah.
Brady had lost that game, essentially.
Yeah.
His defense saved them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were, 1 yard away with the best running back in the league, and they do a hurried dump pass into traffic.
That reeked of Pete Carroll's foolishness, though. He loves doing that crap. I mean...
Okay, but so you want to know what doing that crap looks like in a win? Look at Philly beating the Pats in this last Super Bowl. That's a gutsy call that works because you're doing it where there's no traffic. That's a smart play. That was a brilliant play. And it was done at the exact right time. A dump pass into heavy traffic that close to the line in what should have been a tight end, but it wasn't a tight end trying to catch the ball. I mean, that's asking for trouble. The tight ends are used to catching it within 5 yards right there. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's water under the bridge. But
well, if Pete Carroll played Madden, he would know that doesn't work. That's usually a pick six every time. Just run the damn ball.
But you're right. But I mean, the Legion of Boom, as they were called, they were a force to reckon with. They were something teams feared, didn't want to play against. And they made quarterbacks look bad, and that's tough to do in a hands-off kind of a league that we've become.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, they were one of the most exciting, at least trios, I would say. Now, I would not call them anything more than that, but it was those three guys that, for years, held that backfield, or at least behind the lines down. I mean, they were hard to stop. Some of the other big news is Jarvis Landry's finally out of Miami. I'm sure he's so glad, but he went to die in Cleveland.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. I'm kind of proud of the Browns for trading away some picks to actually get some talent, because this whole draft crap is not working for them.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they gave up a first and fourth round pick.
For Jarvis Landry? So they must have.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Or I don't know. Oh no, no. I see. They did give up. I can't remember which one it was, but they traded some picks to get guys.
Oh, okay. Let's see. They traded a 2018 and a 2019. 2 picks. Yeah. No first or second.
That's right.
rounder.
Yeah, they traded those 2 draft picks for Landry.
a 4th and a 7th round, which I think is a steal, man. I've tooted his horn before on this podcast, but I mean, for the last 4 years, have 100-yard seasons. 100 catch seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, just an incredible talent. I was hoping that he would land in Washington, but there was no chance of that happening. But congrats to him. The Browns also picked up Tyrod Taylor. I thought that was a great move.
Where was Tyrod?
He was at Buffalo.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep, and had them in contention for a while. I mean, he got injured, big injury there, but he is a stud quarterback and should be able to make Browns a lot more dynamic than they are. Their offense was very stale last year. He's going to –
yeah, their offense looked like it was 50 years old.
Yeah. Run, pass, run, pass.
Yeah.
And they also have the 1st and 4th pick this year. So, by God, if they don't win a game next year, then something is terribly wrong. They'll probably go with, since they picked up Tyrod, they'll probably get the kid from Penn State, Saquon Barkley, who's the number 1 running back, who may be number 1 overall. That would be a huge pick. And then 4th pick, they'll probably trade that away. One of those they're going to trade down to get more picks.
Yeah.
But talk about putting themselves in a good position overnight. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was released by the Giants. I was shocked to see that.
Corners getting peeled off left and right.
Mm-hmm. And I was really surprised to see that because he put in a lot of good years. I think 3 or 4 years there in New York, and they're shut down one side.
They're turning everything over, man. I mean, they've gotten rid of their coach. They were trying to get rid of Eli. They're losing players left and right. There's very little left over from the Super Bowl winning years, But
the fat.
Yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to rebuild. Sorry, I mean you had good players. You got through it, and now it's time to try something different, or at least it looks like that's what they're trying to do. Especially since they're going to have another new coach.
Speaking of the Giants, did you hear the big news about the Odell Beckham video leak?
I heard murmurs, but I don't know anything about it.
So I read into it a little bit. It wasn't really put out there that much yet because I don't think a lot is known about it. But apparently there was a video leak that was out there. I think he was overseas. I want to say Europe, maybe France. But there was a video leak of him and a girl and what looked to be like a powdery white substance in a line, and I don't mean flour. Could spell some trouble for Mr. OBJ, which would suck because after his injury last year.
Well, that's what it is. It was Vicodin. It was a painkiller.
He was snorting Vicodin. I bet.
The more upsetting thing was when he butt chugs a beer.
Or maybe the coffee enema.
Oh, God. Do you want that caffeinated jolt without coffee breath? Then do I have the solution for you?
Yeah, we got to get those sponsored ads going up like that.
Man. Watkins brand coffee enemas, they'll get you running.
Need to be cleaned out.
So, in other awful news, Aqib Talib goes to the Rams, where his cancer will truly become malignant and rot them from the inside.
Oh,
I don't like him. I don't like him on teams. He's just everywhere he goes, he causes problems.
Yeah.
He was a problem in New England.
Trash talker.
Oh my gosh. Well, and he does some things that are kind of dirty on the field. You know what I mean? Didn't he get in trouble a couple years ago for yanking a guy's necklace and pulling his neck? It's And I hate it because, it's not that I don't think that guys can be redeemed, but I don't see him apologizing for anything. And I like the Rams. I'd like to see the Rams get better. I think it's also good to have a team in L.A. getting better. But, I've told you before, I have that special affinity for the Rams because, my favorite college player growing up, Torrey Holt, went to the Rams. And so I kind of always pulled for them on the side. Panthers were always number one. But the Rams were a close second. They were, and they're a historic team. So I don't know. Maybe he'll help their defense, but I kind of already thought their defense was, pretty good to begin with. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, I think
Plus,
it's
he's getting
more of a
old
depth
now.
He is. He's over 30. And he kind of had a down year last year. Only had 31 tackles and 1 interception. So his by the numbers.
That's more than Josh Norman.
Down. By the numbers, definitely down. Yeah, Josh Norman's got to step up this year.
Yeah,
he's got a big paycheck to fulfill.
30 shouldn't be old, but in that position, just like running back, it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, for a position that you have to have good top-end speed and to be able to keep up with some of these players, I mean, you got guys 6'6", 6'7", running 4.3, 4.4 40s. Yeah. You got to be able to keep up. But yeah, I like what the Rams have going on. I'd like to see Sean McVay really turn that team around. He's a Skins boy, and I'm glad to see that. And they had a really good year. So who knows what to leave, if he'll even fit in the system at all.
Yeah. And last but not least, Torrey Smith to my Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think about that.
He's coming off an injury, right?
I don't know, honestly. I know he played for the Super Bowl winning Eagles.
Yeah, but I remember reading some articles about people saying, like, is it worth it,
Right.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
I think he's been off and on again.
If he's a good wide receiver, which he's proven himself to be, that's what the Panthers need. We need a dynamic, reliable receiver who doesn't drop the ball. Oh my God. I don't know what it is, but we have had for 10 years these receivers who just get the yips, man.
He does bring a veteran presence to the team, and he has some speed. I think of him more of a possession, receiver than anything. But
yeah. Well, we've got our deep guy, man. So we don't have to worry about that.
Who, Funchess?
Yeah. Funchess has wheels. So the thing is, like, if he can hold on to the GD ball, he can get open. So if we've got Smith, Torrey Smith as a possession receiver, then we've got a guy deep and we've got a guy short, and then you've got Olsen, who's still going to play, who can catch short and mid range. It'll be interesting to see too who's our other tight end who came in. Crumb. Anyways, we've got another good tight end who's come in that's going to be reliable for those short yardage situations. But Riverboat Ron's just going to be like, all right, hand it off, run it up the gut. Hand it off, run it up the gut. And it's like, son of a gun, you have a dynamic quarterback. Do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways,
yeah, we'll see. I do think that makes them a better team. So I like the move. I don't have a real serious complaint with it.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy. Now, he has been notorious for being hurt in the past, so that would be my only cause for concern with that move.
Well, I guess we'll see. All right, championship week.
Woo woo! Did you? I don't know if you got to watch any of the other games or anything like that this week.
I tuned into a little bit of it between work. So.
Yeah. I watched the end of the Alabama game where they were down by 2 with 4 seconds left, and the guy goes coast to coast to hit a floater. I mean, talk to a finger roll. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. To hit a finger roll with 4 seconds, or there were 4 seconds left in the game when he ran down the court for them to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. It was awesome.
Wow. So who did they beat?
Gosh, I can't remember who they were playing.
I was gonna say you were talking about let's see here. Let's see here. Is that right?
It was not the tournament final. But let's see. Here it is.
Yeah. I was gonna say they didn't make it to the final.
No, it was against Texas A&M, but that did punch their ticket
Okay.
To get into the
I
tournament.
got you. I was going to say, because in my head I was like, I'm pretty sure Kentucky won.
Yes. For a fourth straight year, Kentucky won too.
Oh,
but they
I'm shocked. SEC.
I know. SEC sucks in basketball.
You know what? Kentucky is the Duke of their conference. Because like in general, the rule of thumb is what? Duke's great at basketball, but not at football. Now, I know Duke's had some good football teams the last couple of years, but like that's exactly what Kentucky is. Garbage football and great basketball. Very similar to Duke.
I think the only other team that's been competitive with them the last few years, I think of South Carolina. I mean, I don't think of many other teams being that good in the SEC. I mean, Tennessee had a good year. I mean, they were 25-7, but I don't think of a lot of other good teams in the SEC.
Yeah,
you're right. They're just, I think they're kind of the lone wolf of that conference.
Because, like, I can't think of another SEC team that's won a basketball title recently. Florida, and even then that was, 10 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, with, what was his name? Billy Donovan?
Billy Donovan and Joakim Noah. That was when he was on their team. They won in 2006 and 2007. Crap. Yeah. 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And they also won a football national championship in that 1 year time frame.
Well, Kentucky did not have a good year. I mean, there were several teams that were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that were ahead of them in the standings. They weren't even ranked. But, like you said, big surprise that they actually won. Big whoop.
Yeah.
But they'll be in the tournament. Davidson going back to the NCAA bracket.
Yeah. What's their conference?
You had to ask me that.
It's weird because they're in Southern Conference in soccer, but not in basketball. Atlantic 10. They're in the Atlantic 10.
Okay, there you go. That's right. Atlantic 10. So, yep, they won.
There's so many of those small conferences, man.
Small conferences. I know. It's hard to keep up with it. But
let's see here.
It's what makes the tournament what it is, honestly. I love that unlike the stupid-ass BCS that we had for years and now this playoff system, these small schools get a chance. Everyone has a chance.
They get invited to the dance, a place at the table. That's all we're asking for.
That's all we're asking for. College football could learn from that.
Yeah. Let's see how else. It looks like Marshall's in.
Yeah, first time in 31 years they won their conference. That's awesome. 1987.
And that's Conference USA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
for
isn't
these
a
smaller
bad conference.
For these auto bids, I always just like to know which conference they're coming from because it's indicative of what their chances really are in the tournament. Because these smaller conferences with an automatic bid in, man, that's tough stuff. It's an automatic bid in, yeah.
But there are always the Lehigh universities out there, Ron. They exist.
Whatever, Wofford. I don't even want to hear it, Randy.
That wasn't an NCAA loss, though.
How bad did they beat you at home?
It was this year, right?
Yeah,
You're talking
man.
about
it was
not
that
was
good.
not an NCAA first round loss, though. I love it. It's what makes college basketball fun.
Let's see here.
Hey, our local Durham boys are in.
Yeah, NC Central. This is the second year in a row, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so they've got something good going on there.
But come on, the best news of the tournament. You know it. I know it.
The Spartans, baby.
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm not talking about those Michigan State ones. Screw them.
University of North Carolina at Greensboro, baby. Punched their ticket by winning the Southern Conference.
Ooh. Why couldn't they do that when we were there?
Oh, man. Because, Wes Miller was at the end of my time and way before your time. Mm-hmm. You old fart.
Yeah, way before my time.
But yeah, Wes has been there for 6 years now. The thing I hate is that if we get into the tournament, if UNCG actually wins, like a game, you know somebody's going to steal Wes away. Like, that's just what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, he built that program from basically nothing. Yeah, please come work at our school.
I'd like to see them in there. I'm so glad. Maybe they will get some good. Because there's some great recruits coming out of Greensboro every year, and a lot of them go on to other schools. If we could keep some in house, that would be awesome. And with a name like Wes Miller, I mean that definitely has some pedigree behind it. So I'm glad to see he's turning that.
I'll tell you what
around.
I hope. I just hope that UNCG gets assigned to the Greensboro Regional. Wouldn't that be great? It's like, oh wait, this is a home game for us. Literally, we're playing in the venue we play at home.
That's right.
It's happened before. NC State, there was a Raleigh Regional that was played at PNC that State got to play in. It happens,
yes.
you know?
Yes, yeah, it does. 27-7, man. They had an incredible year. 16-1 at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's astounding. Well, and they beat some good teams, man.
Mm-hmm.
They beat NC State. That was a shocker.
Yeah. They're on a 6-game win streak.
Oh, my gosh. But let's see here. And also, we already mentioned this, but Virginia wins the ACC title.
Yep.
Whippy.
Easy.
You know there's going to be a Virginia fan listening to this. They're like, man, those guys are really harshing on Virginia. Yeah, but we're Duke and Carolina fans. Of course we're harshing on Virginia.
Yeah. Wahoo was. Yeah.
You'll have a place at the table when you win a championship, baby.
I used to work with a diehard Virginia fan. She loves Virginia. She went to Virginia. Actually, we go to church with some Virginia alumnus and or alumni, and yeah. I mean, I think they'll do well in the tournament. Let's take a look at where CBS Sports. We'll just have to see how it shakes down. So the top seeds came out tonight. Did you get to see who was selected?
Yeah, I've also got it pulled up right now. It looks like Virginia, like we thought, is the number 1 overall seed, followed by Villanova, Kansas, and Xavier. They are your number 1 seeds. And
which Xavier lost their, I believe they lost their conference championship, didn't they?
Yeah, but they won the regular season in the Big East.
Yeah.
I mean, conference championships can be kind of fluky. It happens.
I know.
And Carolina getting a seeded ahead of Duke at 5, with Duke at 6. And then we got Michigan at 7, Purdue at 8, Gonzaga at 9, and Cincinnati at 10.
Oh, wow. I didn't pull up my bracket yet. I was curious to see what regions we were in.
There's a bunch of ACC in the top 25. You got Miami at 24. You've got Clemson at 16. Let's see here. Anybody else? All right, so there's 4 ACC in the top 25. No, sorry, 5 ACC, including Virginia. Sorry, I forgot about them at the top. So 20% of the top 5 is ACC.
Which what do they have, 10 total teams in?
So, wow, but look at this. The Big East has 2 teams in the top 4 because Xavier and Villanova are both the Big East. Mm-hmm. So Xavier won the regular season, Villanova won the tournament for the second straight year.
Villanova's look good, and they've got a good thing going. I'm just looking to see which bracket is Duke in.
I don't know. I'm looking at the final AP, the final rankings.
UNCG plays Gonzaga.
Oh, well. Nuts. Well, that was fun.
Carolina's in the same bracket, the West. We're in the West bracket, with Xavier being the number 1 seed. It's actually not a bad bracket to be in. Michigan's there, number 3 seed. Gonzaga, number 4, and Ohio State, number 5. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised to see some of the teams there, how they're seated. But I honestly, I thought out of those 4, Xavier was probably the iffy one, that it could be Michigan State. But
well, Duke, NC State, and Clemson are all in the Midwest region.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Did I say NC State? I meant Michigan State. But all right. So where are y'all?
Where Duke? Duke's in the Midwest.
Yeah,
Duke's in Midwest.
Okay. And the Kansas looked really good. winning the championship this year. They looked really good. Watching a little bit of them.
Yeah, but they'll find some way to disappoint their fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I guess this would be the time for us to start making picks for overall. I'm not a bracketologist at all. And generally I err on the side of 1 and 2 seeds. Generally, I think it's rare for it to be below a 4 seed that makes it to the Final Four. If anybody has a chance to upset Kansas, I think Duke has the best chance of everybody there.
I would agree with that.
And then best chance to upset Xavier. Let's see here. I'm actually going to say nothing against North Carolina because they have a great chance, but they're the obvious pick. I would say next to North Carolina, Gonzaga. Gonzaga is the sleeper there that could beat up Xavier and make it to win that region.
Yeah.
What do you think about the South there? Looking at you've got Virginia as number 1 in the South region and Cincinnati at number 2. Wow, Cincinnati's number 2. Wow.
Yeah. I don't think they've played anybody this year, have they?
I don't follow that region much, but yeah, I mean, from their wins are I don't know. Obviously, they're there for a reason, Randy. So
yeah,
like if somebody's going to upset, like okay, so I see somebody in that region that I think has a chance of upsetting Virginia.
Who's that?
Arizona. I think Arizona in that bracket. I'm telling you, the 4 seeds are dangerous because I think the 4 seeds are cuspers that get stuck in there. So I would say in the South region, I would watch out for Arizona because again, you don't know what team's going to show up, and you don't know if like all this NCAA cloud is hurting them, but they're a good team. They're a dangerous team. They'll have to beat Kentucky to get out of that region, but I certainly think they're capable of it. I think Kentucky's got some big flaws. And then let's look at the East region. You got Villanova at the top, and then Purdue's a number 2 seed there. Anybody jump out at you besides those two?
I'm sorry, I was just looking about how overrated Cincinnati is and looking at their top 25 losses that they incurred this year.
Well, think about it. So Cincinnati was ranked 9. They were ranked 9th out of the top 10. So, of course, they would be against the number one seed. They'd be the number 2 against the number 1 seed. Because if you think about the top 8 in that regard alone, the top number 1 would go against the bottom number 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's always stacked. Yeah.
It does. Okay, what was your question again?
I said taking a look at the East, the Eastern Regional. You've got Villanova at the top, and then the number 2 seed there is Purdue. But looking at that region, is there anybody else that jumps out at you as a sleeper?
Just definitely Wichita State.
It's funny, man. The 4 seeds. That's another 4 seed.
Seriously, the 4 seeds are playing very well.
Gotta watch out for them, man.
Butler is way down there, but Butler shows up at tournament time. I don't know what it is about those kids.
And I hate to say it, I just don't know enough about Texas Tech. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I do know Purdue had an incredible year too. So I would definitely watch out for Purdue. I don't know, man. Villanova might run away in that bracket. They might. For sure.
And what's so crazy about March Madness is that you never know when a 1 seed just coughs it up and eats it. You know what I mean?
I hope this is the year that a 1 seed loses to a 16 seed.
Oh, my God.
Would be awesome would that be? Villanova loses to Radford University out of Virginia.
Oh, man.
Awesome would that be?
That would be phenomenal. Well, I'm telling you, like, I would love for UNCG to get 1 win so that they could, knock off a number 1 seed.
If they would knock off Gonzaga, that would just be awesome. That would be really cool.
Unlikely,
but
would be amazing.
Yeah, unlikely, but anything is possible. To quote Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. So maybe NC Central. How awesome would that be to see them upset us?
Who are they playing? Who are they playing?
Well, they're one of the play-in games.
They
in the
are
West Conference. Yeah, they play Texas Southern.
Oh boy.
Yep. And so the winner of that game will play Xavier. So we'll see. We'll see. I think this is going to be an interesting year because I don't think anybody. Virginia is definitely the standout team, but if I will say if Duke plays like they did against the second game versus North Carolina, they can't be stopped. I mean, if they hit shots and they've got Bagley just working everything in the paint.
Yeah.
I mean, not just Bagley, but Wendell Carter, and he's incredible. Watch the two of them in the paint. I mean, they have a good chance of going very far, Robert. As much as pains me to say that, I do appreciate talent, and they could do very well.
Like I said, man, they've just been. It's tough as a fan because boo-hoo, we have so much talent. Like I get it, good picks, great talent, but they're flighty, man. Inconsistent. They'll have one game where you're like, oh my God, these are NBA players here. And then the next game it'll be like, what's going on, y'all? Where is your head? Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is, too, they're just so young. Even the guys who are super talented, they're so young. And it's a lot to handle on their plate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A lot of attention, too.
It is. It is very, very young. And that's, back to our argument about the one and dones. A 1-year player versus someone that's been in the same system for 3 years is incredibly different. And it'll be interesting to see that if they start playing. I feel like they're gaining traction and they're starting to play together. But like you said, they're flighty. Carolina's the same way. Too many guys, and that was the problem against Virginia is, a lot of guys were just missing shots.
Did you see the clip of Roy Williams in Carolina's first game in the ACC tournament where he was like trying to rip his jacket in half?
He was doing his best Hulk Hogan impression. Except it wasn't a neoprene shirt.
Don't make Roy angry. You won't like Roy when he's angry.
We tried to rip it from the collar, which is the strongest part of the jacket.
You gotta rip it from the bottom, where you got the
turn it upside down.
Yeah.
Well, that was hilarious. He gets really, really frustrated, and I don't blame him. Sometimes some of his guys do some bonehead stuff.
Well,
but it's really
in fairness, most of them can't read, so it's it can be frustrating having to say things over and over again.
Hey, we can't end the show without talking about Grayson Allen and his
hip check,
his butt foul. You go back and look at that, and it was just like, some of my buddies were like, okay, Garrison Brooks is 6'10", and he gets knocked over by Grayson Allen's ass. Like, how's that possible? But if you watch it, he was trying to run up the court, and his feet were in the air, and he put that big man right on his ass.
Jeez. What's funny is Grayson looks short compared to everybody else, but he can dunk.
Yeah, he can. He was dunking in high school over people.
Well, and, the thing is, so he looks short compared to them, Randy, but he's 6'5".
Yeah.
Jeez, he's 6'5" and 205 pounds. I'm such a fat ass.
He's huge.
But it's like when you're surrounded by guys who are like 6'7", 6'8", 7 foot.
It looks small.
6'5" looks small, man.
It does.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Without tooting his horn as much as I can, I will say, he's developed very well in the system. He has a very good shot selection, and he can hit some big shots too.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to be the senior leader on that team, if they respond with him, I think he's going to get you 15 points a game, no doubt. It's just going to be how the other guys play. But watching that guy shoot and make some of the shots that he has, he's developed into quite the player. As much as it pains me to say that, and as much as I despise his face, his 12-year-old head. Why does he have a 12-year-old head and a
Yeah. I'm looking at that butt check again. I swear to I know that people will say it's intentional because it's him, but it really looks pretty incidental. But yeah, to see him as big as he is getting thrown to the court, geez, Lou.
Yes, he's huge.
That's a tough fall, and he falls right on his wrist.
Yeah, it was.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
That's exactly right.
We can't finish the show. We got to at least make an honorable mention for Tiger Woods, since he's kind of the sleeper hit of this show. Came in second today at the Valspar.
Yes.
And was within a shot all weekend.
Yeah. And went to the 18th green. I turned it on there at the end, and he had a very long putt for birdie to tie it up. He came up just short, but I mean he was in it, all weekend. So Tiger Woods, y'all.
It makes me nervous, but I hope we're going to see some contending for a while. It'll be good for the sport, and quite frankly, I think it'll be good for him. Like I said, we like a redemption story, and if somebody actually is, I don't know, if they've turned a new leaf, if they're actually doing something to become a better person and be nicer and better to people, which it certainly seems like he is. He seems like a changed man when you hear press conferences with him now, when he has interviews now. And I hope that's the case. I hope his pursuit is more personal than selfish, sees it as more of a journey rather than just the desire for championships. I guess we'll see.
As the great John Mayer said, you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
To quote the prophet Mayer. All right. Well, if you like the show, you can always check us out on Twitter at CriscoCast. You can also find us on Facebook as Crisco Industries. If you are listening to the podcast, check out our YouTube channel. There's a lot of fun content on there at youtube.com/Crisco Brand Biscuits. And if you'd like to support the show and help us grow, find us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/Crisco Industries. If you don't want to support our Patreon, tell your friends. That's the best way we can grow, and we appreciate all of the support. Speaking of Patreon, a special thanks to Adraxis, our Patreon supporter. And anything you wanna add here, Randy?
Go Heels, baby. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Oh, I forgot. We are contractually obligated to thank Dave Grohl. Praise be unto him. I think we have to mention him every episode. And also our sincerest apologies to the estate of Martin Luther King Jr. We won't do it again. So, I think that has been more than enough. Happy tournament. Enjoy the time. This is a great time of the year. Here's your PSA. Great time of the year to get your tubes tied. There's all sorts of specials being given during this time, and you can spend 2 days in bed watching the tournament. So
yes, sign me up.
Yeah, man. All right. For Randy, I am Robert. This has been the R&R Sports Podcast, and we will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Later.